Alright, fuckers, welcome back to Practicing Hands, an artwod figure roadmap, right? Who am I? Oh, fuck me. God damn it, I fucked up the intro. Anyways, artwod is the best platform in the world to teach you how to draw from imagination, where they give you the work, not the shortcut, work that lets you draw like this after 3 years and almost 10 months, but yeah, 9 months currently, 9.5 months of practice, right? Who am I? I'm Viggy. This channel is a repository of my practice to prove that anybody, especially you, can learn to draw, right? I'm building irrefutable video evidence that anybody can learn this skill, and anybody who believes otherwise is a fucking idiot. So with that wonderful, very positive intro aside, right? Get your pen, get your paper. Let's focus on the one thing we can only ever control, which is the effort, right? So what are we doing? I mean, I just fucking said it. If you're retarded, then you probably didn't hear me, but I'll say it again for the people in the back. Is that a saying, right? Yeah, we're doing the artwod portrait. No, hand roadmap. Jesus Christ, it's not. Well, it's not the hand roadmap. We're doing practicing hands, right? But it's part of the artwod figure voice crack. Figure roadmap. Emphasis on the igger, right? What rep are we on? Rep number 33. I'm going to be drawing the orthographic or 2D view. I listen to my video sometimes, like I was listening to my video on the drive today, and I realized that I need to explain things better. Like, what a fucking shock. I'm not that good at explaining things, but when I say shit like orthographic view, I need to understand that a beginner has no idea what the fuck orthographic means, right? Or maybe even someone a little bit more advanced, right? But orthographic view is just a 2D, it's a 2D representation. It's a flat view. It's usually the front view, the side view, whatever. The point is it's two-dimensional, right? It is not, there's no third axis involved, right? In this case, it's just gonna be an X and a Y, right? X and a Y. There's no Z that's jutting out this way, whatever the fuck. Like, there's no Z. So once again, we are going to draw the orthographic view, right? Of the hand mannequin that we are creating. And I'm going to attempt to make it as accurate as I can, right? To the, I don't even know how to say this, like, make it as accurate, what the fuck? Make it as accurate as I can to what Antonio, the creator of artwod, right? And again, it's all using simple forms. Not easy. It took me fucking like 600 hours to get to this point, to get to the point of being able to draw cylinders, right? Like, effectively, not even well, just effectively, right? But, and again, while I am talking, I am thinking a lot about how to, and I think this is supposed to be tapered. I guess it's something like this. Like this, it's a tapered cylinder, right? So this is roughly what they're trying to do. I think that thumb is definitely way too fucking big. Right? I'm still trying to figure out the proportions there, but it's all based on the box, right? It's all based on the box. Even these diagonal angles that you see, it's all based on the visualizing and calculating this box, even in the two-dimensional view. I actually fucked this up completely. Like, absolutely, and I completely fucked this up. If I look at my previous, and I'm doing this for recall purposes, like to recall the proportions, to recall my understanding, right? Where did I put this one? There you go. This is what I put here, right? Actually, no, I think that, voice crack, I think that angle is fine, right? I think that angle is fine, and that's actually something I need to consider, is the fact that, like, that this angle I'm making here should most likely be this one, right? From this point to this point for the thumb. And that's a lot more accurate, like this one, right? And that's a lot more accurate in terms of how it's jutting out. If we're just doing like a baseline hand, because if I cut this, a plane in half, and then I put a point here, that's more accurate. Versus if this is the box that's encompassing the entire thing and I'm going this way, but it's encompassing only up until like halfway, like to the end of the palm, and I'm doing a diagonal this way. Actually, fuck me. I'm just fucking, I don't fucking know. I have no fucking idea. I'm still struggling to try to figure it out. I'm just trying to figure out the angle. And the thing is, these are arbitrary angles. I want to be very clear, right? So these are, what I mean by that is, like, these are just angles that I'm using to be able to explain to myself and create a consistent rule set for myself when it comes to like the proportions, right? But this palm, right? This palm is tapered. It's a tapered box. Let's see, this is roughly the center line, right? And this angle that we see here, right? This diagonal and this diagonal cross section. By the way, like, I just came back from my little like vacation trip where my friend proposed to his girlfriend and we made a trip out of it and all that stuff. It was like 10 of us, right? Like, so I'm tired. I'm mentally very tired, right? Like, I thought I was good to work today, but I've been very, there you go. It's this like half diagonal from this top corner to the middle of the to the bottom middle of the center line, right? And this angle, that's what this tapering is, right? So roughly, that seems to be the mannequin that I'm gonna go with. And now I have to translate it into 3 dimensions. So let's start that again, and I guess I'll try. It'll always be a difficult perspective, but right now I'm doing my fucking absolute best. So when I say I'm tired, I mean I'm mentally fatigued as well. And this session is gonna be all about me just chasing as much cognitive discomfort as possible, as much cognitive energy as possible, whilst doing my absolute best, right? Whilst doing my absolute best to visualize everything and to like apply, right? Like to stay in that zone, right? Like to hold as many items in my working memory, which is the box, the seen-through box, like the thin seen-through box, right? Like literally this box, right? With and then see through it all 6 planes, and then see the diagonal cross section, then hold that in my mind and hold it like literally proportionally accurately. Try to hold it in my mind as much as I can, whilst also, and let me actually do it in a different perspective. No, actually, I think, I'm trying to think what the perspective should be, right? Like, should I have it tilted like this, like this? Like, there's a lot of things that could be done. I'm just trying to think right now, right? Okay, we'll do something like, we'll do a tilt. We'll do something like this, right? And I want it to be difficult. Obviously, I want it to be difficult. So this already, like this tilt, I'm trying to see this diagonal, the visible cross section, the invisible cross section, this diagonal right here, visible, invisible. That's the visible one right there, and that's the invisible one right here. I'm trying to see all of that. I think I made this a bit too thick, right? And I'm not even seeing it accurately, but I'm genuinely straining my mind to try to make sense of it. And this isn't even the difficult part. The difficult part is being able to hold this and apply this in my mind whilst I make the mark. And that was actually fucking amazing, right? Like, that's actually not bad at all. What I just did here, that wasn't bad at all, right? But because like I did in one fell swoop and it's relatively centered, like it's genuinely not bad. So I'm actually very proud of myself for that, right? Good job, Vicky. Thank you, Vicky. Anyways, right? So now that I'm done jerking myself off, let's go back to actually doing the thing that's difficult. Just jerking myself off while also drawing, right? And that's a whole different skill set. So now I have to, again, think about this box, to think about the diagonal, right? The center line right here, that's roughly the halfway point right there. Go further out, right? That's the full box. I have to try to think about the center line, right? And then the halfway point, so vertical and horizontal center line, right? So literally the center point. And then I have to think in terms of this thing's perspective, right? Because this is the perspective roughly, like this top plane that this is like, if this is my fucking little palm area, right? This is the top plane. And I have to be like, but wait, this diagonal, this fucking center right here, and I have to do this diagonal, and it has to be tapered outward. So this bottom plane right here is actually, as I keep having to remind myself, it is not encompassing the entire bottom of the palm, right? Bottom of this tapered, manipulated shape. That is the bottom of the palm, right? It is tapered, right? So I have to keep that in mind, and I have to calculate that. I have to calculate and be like, where is it, right? Because my mind keeps wanting to finish the edge of the box here, but I have to bring it outward. I have to project it, and I have to see these diagonal cross sections. And I'm struggling right now to see these diagonal cross sections, and I have to be like, okay, like it's right around there, right? I think this is and I'm literally trying to visualize that while I see it, right? That is the bottom of the plane, and then the same thing here, or that is a connection. That is the correct perspectively oriented halfway diagonal that we have established here, right? And again, always going to be giving you as much information as you need, right? In terms of like never ever to the best of my ability fucking neutering the learning experience, right? The thinking experience. And again, and this is wrong because I got this diagonal wrong. I know I got this diagonal wrong now, right? But this is literally like the whole, oh fuck. Beautiful mistake. What did I fuck up? Can anybody guess? I didn't draw the fucking thumb, right? So again, I was unintentionally rushing because I wasn't thinking, but that just still means that I wasn't thinking, right? Like it was a mistake. And now I have to try to hold all this in my mind to the best of my ability. All right, let's just start getting this down. That was also not accurate because I didn't center it properly. Or actually, more than anything, if I try to think about this diagonal cross section and this box, right, and then the halfway point, and this diagonal. Oh, see, like, yeah, there you go. There you go. That's the correct diagonal right there. Going like so. There you go. That's a lot better. See, I course corrected myself. Apparently, this is also like really important when it comes to learning, is to correct the mistake right after you make it, right? because I did, like, I now know what the mistake was when I calculated. I simply did not calculate this angle correctly because I didn't hold the box in my mind. I didn't hold this box right here, right? I didn't hold it in my mind long enough and to be able to be and to like, because I calculated this, I'm like, that's fine, but I simply didn't project the bottom of this plane outward from where the bottom of this is, so like project it past the actual end of the bottom of this tapered or manipulated contour to be able to accurately discern that this is the diagonal, right? So I ended up doing something like very subtle. It's different, but something like this rather than this being the diagonal. But then now that's why I rethought it, I recalculated it, and then I was like, oh, okay. So I simply did not visualize the back end, the bottom end of this front plate and the see-through box long enough, right? And again, now that I'm looking at this, I'm back to calculating, but I've already made a mistake, but we have to commit to visualizing what that mistake means for us, right? Because I have to think about the sphere that's attached here, right? And also, while I'm doing this, and again, like while I'm doing this, I can only think about this form blending that's occurring here because it's an extremely difficult skill to try to think about the contours and how they blend together, right? So I completely lost the box, I completely lost everything, I lost the plot, whatever the fuck you want to say. But I have to take a step back, be like, where's this diagonal, right? And when I look at the example provided, I can be like, okay, this, and now this is like me trying to like see the entire box again while I do this, which is fucking, oh, I love it, bro. I love how fucking difficult this is. But now I have to think, like, again, I'm trying to see through the box. I'm trying to see all the diagonal cross sections to the best of my ability, right? And it's insane. Like, it's genuinely insanely difficult. And that's a good thing. Like, I want this shit to come out here. But again, like, I can't think too much because the whole point of these sessions outside of the portrait session, right, is to build the automatic retrieval and calculation and whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? The automatic calculation, visualization, consolidation of the schema, which is any given box or any given proportionally accurate and consistent box with the diagonal cross sections, right, and the internal planes visualized. And by again, diagonal cross section is just a plane with has one point, other point, the two corners, cross section. This gives you the center point, right? It's called a cross section, right? At least that's what I'm calling it. Maybe there's a fucking better word for it. I'm not gonna say it because I don't know it, and I will be remaining ignorant for the rest of my life. Thank you. So let's see. I want to obviously get this. So which way is this hand? This hand's like this, right? This is like, it's like this. So I have to think about the cylinder that's also blending with this, and I think it's something like that, right? And then I have to think about the angle, and while I'm doing this, I can barely, and I mean barely, like literally barely reason the box. If like I actually can't reason the box, right? And I think this was the wrong blend because this makes it look like it's coming out this way, right? So this was not an accurate form blending, right? I probably should have been much more subtle, nothing like that. And then we'll get the tapered thumb out, right? And I need to zoom out because I'm actually looking too much at that line. So I need to zoom out and think about the box and the diagonal cross section, and then just commit to, and I'm not looking at the marks that I'm making right now, but just commit to drawing that manipulated tapered shape. That was extremely difficult. That was beautiful. I'm gonna rest my brain. Again, I am actively, as much as I can, I'm constantly trying to remind myself to see the overarching box that this is consolidated inside. Because the skill is not the ability to draw the hand. The skill is to be able to place combined manipulated shapes in a consistent proportion that are attached to specific center points, delegated by the bounding box, right? The box that is contained inside, and the diagonal cross sections that are being used as a reference point, right? For those delegations. So to say it in a way that isn't fucking retarded, basically the box and the diagonal cross sections is the skill that is being built, which is the ability to be able to have essentially a referential geometrically mapped wireframe that can contain any shape and form proportionally accurately, right? Using the center points of those diagonal cross sections as arbitrary measurements to retain consistencies within the mannequins that are inside this bounding box. Like, I'm basically building the ability to be able to mannequinize anything right? Regardless of the topic of the thing inside the box, and the box is the skill. This see-through box with the diagonal cross sections is the skill that's being built, because the box will change as per the item as per the subject that's being mannequinized, right? With manipulated forms or simpler forms. None of these things are easy. Like, these forms are not easy to do at all. I have fucked them up hundreds and hundreds of times. You will likely fuck them up hundreds and thousands of times as well, right? And nobody can tell right now, but I'm really shaking my head because I'm super passionate. I'm literally talking like this for some reason. I'm jerking my own head off. But with that being said, please rest your brain. All right, cool. Brain is replenished, right? And yeah, the angle is definitely off, because this hand is supposed to be, it should have been way more subtle, something like this. And there you go. That would have been better. Now I need to explain myself why that would have been better, because if I have a sphere and this is the direction I'm trying to go in, as per the perspective of this being the plane, right? And then let's see, I'm trying to, yeah, because this is the, and then let's say this is the halfway point, right? This is the direction I'm trying to go in. Yeah, like that direction right there. Then a sphere and a cylinder combined in that direction. Actually, yeah, it's completely wrong. I shouldn't, this should actually literally just be like that. There you go. And the angle that I got here is also wrong. There you go. This is the wrong angle that I gave to this thumb. Like, this thumb is not in the right angle, because this is the angle right here. Like, this is the angle, and you see what I'm doing with my hand is something like this, and what I've drawn here is something like this. So no matter what, this thumb is incorrect. Still figuring things out, right? And that's why I'm making the permanent marks, and that's why I'm forcing myself to visualize everything. But anyways, back to seeing the overall box, right? Back to seeing yeah, just back to fucking trying to visualize this overall box and struggling immensely, right? But I love this, because my brain is like experiencing extreme friction just trying to visualize the visible three planes and the invisible three planes for the box, and then barely, and I mean barely, because I'm like zooming in. I'm not looking here, I'm looking here, but I'm thinking about this entire fuckery, like this entire fuckery. Well, that's actually wrong. This entire fuckery is what I'm thinking about, like this, see-through, diagonal, blah, 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 right? Like, that's what I'm trying to think about, right? And obviously I'm speedrunning my shitty explanation, because it's a shitty explanation. I'm speedrunning it. Very, very, very good, concise explanation. or what the fuck I'm doing. But this is literally, right? Literally what I'm trying to do. And I'm obviously ghosting as well to get the diagonal cross section to really build my skills of being able to think about it clearer, right? And it's genuinely very cognitively taxing, and that's exactly what I want. But anyways, now that I've visualized that to the best of my ability, right, now we have to see it through to the end. So now I have to think about the forms that are the cylindrical forms for these hands, whilst also retaining the proportions and the box. And again, like, while I'm doing this, I'm trying my absolute fucking best to not think about to think about, see, I can't even fucking think, but to think about the box. And I could barely do that. And I genuinely mean I could barely do that. And that's exactly why it was worth doing, right? Because I couldn't do it. And even now, while I'm applying these marks, I am constantly trying to think about the box seen through, right? Whilst at the same time, I'm trying to think about the box seen through the diagonal cross sections, whilst at the same time trying to think about oh wait, that's incorrect. I flipped the index finger, the middle finger and the ring finger in terms of the ratio, right? It's like this, you see? So, beautiful mistake. What did I do? I just attached dopamine to that. Again, like, constantly attaching dopamine to my inability to be able to visualize, to be able to, and I know my laugh probably sounded really fake there, right? But it was a genuine soundbite of shock, bemusement, and then immediately gaslighting myself and force myself to feel good from the mistake. And even now, like, because what I'm doing right now is I'm forcing myself to also think about, not forcing, but I'm consciously making an effort to think about the entire contour. Like when I'm drawing this, when I'm making these lines, I'm literally trying to think through the form, right? I'm trying to think through the form. And that line was a beautiful mistake because it was incorrect cylinder, right? Or incorrect form contour, right? And that one with 2. And while I'm trying to think about that, I'm really like, I'm fucking doing my best to constantly be aware and grind my brain, like really push my working memory, tax it as much as I can to think about the diagonal cross sections. Am I able to do it? No, fuck no. I can barely see 3 planes, let alone all 6 planes, let alone the diagonal cross sections themselves. But it's the idea of trying to constantly see that is going to create the ability to have this box mapped out in my mind, right? And that is why it will take hundreds of hours, because again, these lines take cognitive energy. Like I'm not just drawing lines, fucking AI speak. I know I say that, but like it's literally like fucking AI talk. You're not just X, you're Y. Oh, thank you very much. But like to visualize an entire box and just keep seeing it and its diagonal, like I can do it now. I'm doing it now. But the second a mark is made, right? The second a mark, and I'm not doing it well, by the way, right? But I can like vaguely understand. But the second a mark is made, it's like it just all it simply adds more items to hold in my working memory. Like it's simply a juggling act, and it always will be a juggling act, right? And that is the beauty of art, is the fact that you're only as good as the quality of your thinking and your effort, right? And if that offends you, you're a moron. I just wanted to say that to shit on somebody or anybody listening. It most likely doesn't offend you. But if it does offend you, you're actually a fucking idiot, and you should really reflect on why a statement such as getting good at a skill means trying is offensive to you, right? It might be a reflection of the fact that, maybe I'm not trying in the right way. Well, guess what? Just because you're not quote-unquote trying the right way, doesn't mean you can't try in the right way later on. Right? And there are right ways to try. There absolutely are right ways to try. Like there is no fucking argument to be had there. There are half-assed attempts, and then there are genuine attempts, right? And the half-assed attempt is something that we will actively try to avoid if we're trying to be good learners, right? It's as simple as that. And I always feel like I'm making a half-assed attempt, right? But what do? I simply tell myself that I'm better than every single one of you, and then and only then do I feel better about myself. I don't know what I'm saying. I have no. This is like I was trying to make a joke about being something or the other. Haha, I'm so good. I don't know, man. As I said, I'm not really in the mood to draw, and I'm tired. Came back from a vacation. Don't judge me. Judge yourself for thinking that I'm judging you. Yes, but. And you see, like, I even fucked up. This was supposed to be my initial box, and that somehow turned into this really, like, vague one, right? Or, like, the super, narrow-angled one. So, again, like, and my lines are not the best, right? My lines are not the best at all. And, again, like, I always feel like I'm not trying. Like, right now, every time I draw this box, I'm making so many mistakes. Like, I'm genuinely making so many fucking mistakes. And that's normal. That's completely normal, you know? And it's just about trying to do my best to understand the mistakes that I'm making and whether I understand what the fuck I'm doing as well, right? So this was my center line, apparently. Actually, no, what the fuck? Yeah, because like this is supposed to be... Because this... Actually, I didn't even draw the box long enough, right? I don't even know if I drew the box correctly, to be honest. No idea. No fucking idea if I did anything correctly. Do I even know what the fuck I'm doing? Clearly fucking not, bro. Jesus Christ. Let's see. So that's my center line over here. But why is this the... What? Because this is like half, no? I'm pretty sure this is half. Pretty sure... Oh, no, wait. Is this not half? Oh, no, that's definitely not half. So what happened here? There's this discrepancy. Okay, so I made a mistake. But I don't... Still trying to figure it out. Because, like, overall, that hand does look pretty decent, right? Like, it looks okay. It doesn't look too bad. The main thing is, of course, just trying to not get too anal about my exact measurements while still trying to keep it bounded within specific measurements, if that makes sense, right? So I don't even fucking know what I did, man. I'm just gonna rest my brain. I'm gonna rest my brain. I'm gonna try again to make sense of all of this. And the biggest issue clearly is the fact that I didn't, I didn't actively make a conscious effort, right? I didn't think when it came to like making this taper to align it with the halfway point, and that is almost most definitely and likely due to the fact that I simply could not visualize the box well enough to high enough fidelity, hold it in my mind constantly, not being able to recreate it, right? What's the right word I'm looking for? To reconstruct it, right, as fast as I could. Like I did try to pay attention to that as much as I could, but still very difficult, still extremely difficult. But yeah, please rest your brain, and then let's go again. All right, cool. Goddamn. Okay, let's keep making an effort, right? Just keep making an effort. And yeah, like I just honestly, the past 3 weeks, I've simply felt like a fucking idiot, right? When it comes to drawing. No, that's a lie. The past 3 years and 9 months. This is like the entire fucking time I've been drawing. I feel like an absolute fucking moron, right? I'm telling you, like, there's very rarely any session where I'm like, whoop-de-doo, oh, I'm so happy, that was an amazing session. It's all recorded, so for anybody who has time to sift through 513 videos, or like 520 videos, actually technically 430 main recorded hours, this is like not counting shorts and not counting my live streams, I have like 430 hours cataloged of my 5-day-a-week practice, right? It's like, there's very fucking little missing, only my sketchbook drawings are missing, right? And that is maybe like 20 hours of drawing out of the 430, right? So 5-10%, you know? But what I'm trying to say is, like, of those drawings, yes, I utilize neuroscience. I fucking use the micro gap effect. I focus on the effort. I focus on the friction. I know exactly what's happening neurochemically in my fucking brain when I'm drawing, right? Which is literally why I'm capable, right, of being able to attach dopamine to my errors and to feel good about all of this, right? But it's a conscious effort. It's a constant conscious effort, right? But vast majority of my fucking drawings, I feel like an absolute fucking idiot, right? As I should, by the way. Like, again, I'm trying to figure out a good tilt for this because I'm probably gonna do something in this angle, right? Not with my fucked up pinky, of course. There's no bitch slapping with this hand, but yeah, not with my fucked up pinky, of course. Like, it's not gonna be drawn like that, but overall, and I'm purposefully trying to do these. I am purposefully trying to do these difficult angles, right? Because this is where the learning happens. And again, I'm trying to see through the box. I'm trying to see the diagonal cross section. I'm really trying to like zoom out and see it all, right? And now that I'm trying to see it all, I'm also trying to, I'm trying to draw the correct box. And you can see, that was fucking miserable. In a great way. I say, again, I use these terminologies, these words, these abrasive terms, whatever, these negative terms, whatever the fuck you want to call it, but I simply don't see it that way, right? Like, I say these things, and I've trained myself to feel fucking amazing when I make these mistakes, right? It's as simple as that. And if I look at Antonio's example, yeah, like, this is too thin. The bottom of this palm is way too thin. Unfortunately, he hasn't drawn any angles that are, that are from this angle, but obviously I understand the concept of the forms being taught, right? So for me, it's really like not that big of a deal. Again, like right now, what am I trying to think about? I'm taxing my working memory, trying to think about the overall box, right? This is the box I'm trying to think about, or I actually end up drawing it wrong. So this is roughly the box that I'm trying to think about, right? This is where this bottom palm is placed, something like this, right? And then I'm trying to taper it because this is the center, this is the diagonal, this is the other diagonal, right? And then this is the diagonal over here, this super subtle one, and then this one over here, right? That these two, this forming this little narrow V, right? Those are the ones that's gonna be informing my, hey, no pun at the form word, right? Informing my tapering. And again, I have to keep this halfway point, this right here, in mind, because that's actually what's going to be helping me. There you go. Create the correct tapering, right? And keep it actually proportionally accurate to being halfway. So again, that's why you got to zoom out. That's why I got to zoom out, think about the overall box, right? And then be, okay, where is my halfway point? Like where it's right around here, right? So that means, and then this is my diagonal. So that means my diagonal is somewhere right around there. And same thing, like that's my halfway point. Okay, cool. So where's my diagonal? Again, this is the center point. That's the halfway point. Cool, cool, right? This is the box jutting out. You know, that's the, I got this right there. That's the halfway. And then what about this? Something like, actually maybe I got the box wrong. I think I envisioned an incorrect box. So let's try that one more time, right? Like there is my box. This is my halfway point right around there. I'm trying to hold it all together. I'm trying to really see through the box all the diagonal cross sections. It means coming out here, right? That means this diagonal from the top right to the bottom center, right, is going, it's going like that. That's the halfway point. So same thing. What about this one, right? This box is halfway point. And again, like I'm really just trying to, I'm also trying to be very explicit. Like, this is literally what I'm thinking, right? I'm trying to see the entire box. I'm just fucking calculating these diagonals, right? And that's the center. So what is this? Oh, it's like this. Okay, so it's right around there. And it's something like that. But again, I gotta make sure I don't fucking draw. I really gotta make sure I don't goddamn make this mistake again. There you go. That was okay. I don't know if I did that correctly, to be honest, but let's see, right? This is my box. Again, that's the center point. And then, oh no, it's around here somewhere. There you go. That's a lot better. But this is now exactly where I need to, again, continue holding, right? I need to continue holding my box in my mind, right? And the diagonal cross sections and everything, right? And this line could have been better. I'm just making it worse. And I have to hold all of this. You know, I'm trying to hold the box, the see-through box, the diagonal cross sections, it's accurately placed, all that shit, right? And then I have to try and think about the sphere coming out as well as it being the diagonal right around there. So like it being, and then as well as a thumb cylinder that's jutting out diagonally, but from the halfway point, and it's it's like this half of this box, right? And it's this. So I need to think about that. And like again, it's not as if the thumb is always like jutting out or whatever, but it's purely just to create consistent measurements for my own sake currently, right? And let's see, again, trying to think about the fucking box. I'm trying to really, dude, I love this. I am struggling. I don't know why I'm talking like this, but I love this. I'm genuinely struggling. This is amazing, right? But trying to zoom out again, trying to see the entire box. Actually, you know, this halfway point should be right around there. There you go. That's better, right? And then that's where this one should be. Hold up, I'm trying to think about the center point again, right? Trying to see the center point, trying to see the, okay, I got this diagonal wrong. It's actually supposed to be something like this. There you go, right? Yeah, so that diagonal is wrong, and so that means this one is also, if that's my diagonal here, then that is, yeah, there you go, it's something like this over here. It's right around here, and then we'll just do there you go, the curve, right, to finish the contour. If we turn it this way, you see it's not that bad. It's pretty fucking shit. It's not that bad, right? And again, I'm trying to hold the entire box in my mind while I do this, right? And then we'll get the sphere embedding into this. I'm really trying to visualize that while also consistently zooming out, trying to think about the diagonal cross sections and the overall box, right? And holy shit, I love this. Sorry, there's a lot of, I need to explain this properly. There's a lot of items being held in my working memory right now. First, trying to see the entire box, right? Accurately proportioned inside of this, zoomed out, see this diagonal, get the center right? That's what I was trying to do this entire time. I see the middle diagonal, like the slight diagonal on the right and the slight diagonal on the left, get that attributed to the tapering of this box. And then on top of that, while trying to hold all that in my mind together, right? And then also trying to see every single diagonal cross section, right? That is on not just like the visible front plane that I've been focusing on, but also the back invisible, the bottom, right? The bottom invisible, the top visible, right? Super narrow. These are super narrow, right? The back, this back invisible, and this, the one that's the visible version of this front, right? Like trying to see, it is incredibly difficult. Just, I understand the concept. That's the beautiful thing. Is like once you know it, you're basically halfway there. And then what's left is to practice it hundreds and thousands of times and over hundreds of repetitions. Sorry, hundreds of hours, right? Of repetitions. Like that's all that's left. Right? It's like that Marcus Aurelius quote, like first figure out what it is you have to do and then do it, right? Yeah, I'm fucking paraphrasing. I'm pretty sure it was much much more empowering than that, right? Much like myself, except not me at all, right? Except not me at all. That's what I said. Anyways, Ohio London's family. Anyways, it's okay. So I'm trying to think about this diagonal right now, and I'm trying to reason exactly how the thumb is going to be placed, right? Because I cannot reason this box anymore, and this diagonal, I can't reason it because I can't think about how this thumb would be placed. So I have to think really hard, right? Whilst I obviously try to get the sphere, try to get any semblance of fucking understanding how this form connects as well, like this sphere, right? Wait, hold up, I actually fucked that up. There you go. There you go. So this sphere, like this curve is too much too, like it should have been a bit better. But either way, the sphere coming around, right? And then it's jutting out, and then I'm trying to think like, okay, what's the box? Where do we even see the thumb, right? Like genuinely, where do I even see this thumb? And if it's coming out this way, then I probably should have done something like this. Maybe. No idea. And then, let's see. I need to really think about which direction is this ellipse facing, right? Am I seeing the front plane of this ellipse? And by the way, this is killing my brain to try to hold the box in while I do this. Like, it's genuinely fucking destroying my brain. And I got the angle wrong, so we're just gonna have to take the L, right? We're just gonna have to A, feel good, right? Just force myself to feel good, right? But B, just take the L, finish it off, rest my brain after this, because it is genuinely so taxed. Like, I'm in output regression, like I'm struggling. But yeah, see, looks like shit. Wonderful. Wonderful. Force myself to feel good. I just attached dopamine to all that friction, that discomfort, the acetylcholine and norepinephrine that was being released. And now I'm gonna rest my brain. I encourage you to do so as well. That was extremely fucking difficult. All right, let's continue going. Why are there 2 water bottles next to me? I swear there's only one. Is that from last time? What the fuck? I forgot to stay hydrated, or forgot to take my hydration with me. But either way, anyways, okay, back to visualizing, right? Visualizing the box, visualizing the scene through box. And now again, another extremely difficult part is reasoning the fingers and making sure that I don't, and again, you can see the line work is suffering, right? That's good, because this angle is not only difficult, I'm also thinking about the... I'm also thinking about the overall box while I do this, right? So that also makes it very difficult to think. And I think at this time I made it too short. I think I made the fingers too stubby, right? So this should have been a little bit larger, because I'm obviously trying to make it so that this hits the end of the box as well. Right, so that's why it's extremely hard, because I have to think about the overall box and its actual bounding its actual bounding parameters, for lack of a better word. Right? And every time I do this, like I actually think that's funny. I think I did do it right. I did do it right? I did do it right. So we're actually gonna ignore this extra thing that I did. But I think I did do it right, and then I thought I didn't do it wrong. I thought, what the fuck? I thought I did do it right, and then I thought I did it wrong. What the fuck am I saying, bro? I thought I didn't do it wrong, Jesus Christ. But I hope me not even making sense goes to show, like, it indicates just how much mental friction, cognitive friction, how much mental effort I'm putting in to just trying to understand. Because, by the way, while I'm trying to reason the ellipses that make up this organic cylinder, not organic cylinder, it's just a cylinder, that make up this cylinder, right? Actually, technically it's organic because it ends at a point, right? And that makes it not a cylinder specifically. But while I'm trying to do that, I'm trying to also think about the bottom plane, this back plane, not the bottom plane, like this, right? You know how we have the front here? I'm trying to think about the back, and then I'm trying to think about the diagonal cross sections for that. And I'm also trying to think about, and I haven't been able to do this, is think about the bottom one over here too, right? But that's the beauty of this skill, is that it is just another fucking mountain to climb, right? This is another incredibly difficult layer of effort and practice that will simply take me another 100 hours, 200 hours, 300 hours. The time doesn't matter, but you know what does matter? The effort. Okay, like again, like I don't give a shit if it looks good or not. All I personally care about, and all I will continuously train myself to care about, because it's a trainable skill, right? All I will continuously train myself to care about is the effort. And I'm just making this here, so I'm aware of my own perspective that I've made. Right, same thing here, right? I will only ever train myself. And this is exactly how you know I fucked up, because look at that. Where's that going? Right? Yeah, like these are things you wouldn't notice otherwise, right? So this was wrong, but this is correct. Like where this is going, that's much more correct. Maybe I just drew the line wrong. Well, that is what I was trying to do, but yeah, like this is technically this is incorrect, but it's at the same time like it's not incorrect. It's only incorrect because of where I put the center. So if I put the center right around here, and then I made that the other finger larger, like so, that would technically not be incorrect. But it also still is incorrect because again, it's all related to how wide I made this finger right here, like the silhouette of it, right? And really, it is incorrect because I should have made this a lot wider. And then if I did that, we would have not only have had more even contours, right? More even contours. It would have been way more centered, like way more properly centered. But again, like that also just comes down to the fact that this thing isn't tapered correctly. So the centering would have been off either way. Like this thing is just simply not tapered correctly, right? And that's fine. Like that is, again, par for the course of learning, right? Like that is literally how it works. But again, like the reason I do apologize. Like my speech is gonna be still because I'm thinking about the box. While I'm thinking about the box and everything that is encompassed inside this box and the proportions of the box and all that wonderful shit, right? I'm also trying to make sure my lines are clean. I'm also trying to think about the organic form, and I'm not even looking at the box. I'm trying to be aware of the fact that it's there, right? Incredibly difficult skill. One that will take years and decades and decades and years to get better at, right? And that's why I like it. That's why I like it. So again, proportions are getting pretty good. Like if you actually look at the proportions, like it's not bad. Again, I have small hands, but either way, like the proportions are getting much more accurate to what artwod or Antonio's mannequin that he has provided as a template is, right? But that doesn't mean that there isn't a lot of spatial reasoning that needs to be accounted for, right? Because there's a lot of spatial reasoning that needs to be accounted for. And again, I need to constantly think about the box that I'm drawing. And for the first time, I'm actually like, because even like what I'm trying to say is like for the first time, the box I'm drawing right now is actually having thought put behind it, way more thought than I usually do. And that's purely because I haven't been able to consider it properly, right? What does that mean? Like, I still haven't been able to, like, I diverged that, and I have to fix that right now, right? But I still didn't consider the tail end, because it's already so hard to think about this box as it is, right? Like, it's so hard to think about the box and the seeing through and all that shit that, like, trying to account for the tail end, i.e. like the other end is what I mean, not the tail end, yeah, but the other end, and then trying to think about like expanding the box and make it larger, and then trying to think about the proportions and the diagonal cross sections while I do this is already so much that I constantly lose sight of the actual accuracy of the box itself when it comes to, like, it starts here, it stops here, you know, this middle finger and the ring finger should be centered right around here, right? Like all that shit constantly forget. Even now when I'm drawing these diagonal cross sections, right, I'm doing my best to think about at least 2 adjacent diagonal cross sections, right? At least 2 adjacent diagonal cross sections. Am I capable of that? Maybe. Sometimes not really. Right? When I say maybe sometimes it's me saying, yeah, like 20% of the time, 30% of the time. Not really is basically like what the general state is, but it's in that not really, right? The inability to do is when we learn to do, is when we focus on doing, and when we figure out like exactly how to put the effort to figure out what to do. And instead of being extremely fucking vague, and I'm putting a dot here because that's like a fuck up. These are all fuck ups, right? Can just force myself to feel good. So instead of being completely vague, what I mean is like when you, like for example, let's just start with a line, right? Like you draw lines over and over. You'll draw different. See, that was a fuck up, right? Like I curved the line. I didn't even get the fucking angle right. Everything about this diagonal cross section is incorrect, and that's just purely because my line work is still lacking quite a bit. So yeah, literally best example is line, right? Like when I say like, oh, you'll figure out what to do, like, and it's because it's in the not understanding or failing, right? What I mean is like you draw a line and then you simply observe and analyze to the best of your ability, right? What are the 2 to 3 things you can notice that are insufficient in terms of the standard that you are evaluating your efforts against, right? For example, I'm evaluating my efforts against the masters that I look up to. Kim Jung-gi, Rembert Montelt, a lot of pen and ink draftsmen, which I can't name right now because I'm fucking... It's like a lot of draftsmen in the Rendering in Pen and Ink book that I have by Arthur Guptill, right? Great book, by the way. Have barely utilized it because I'm clearly not a good artist. But like there's a lot of pen and ink artists there that I look up to just in terms of the sheer like quality of their work and draftsmanship, right? But yeah, Kim Jung-gi, Rembert Montelt, Peter Han, right? Elisa Ivanova, right? Even like, yeah, like of course, like Tyrion Holted, right? Broken Draw, Antonio Staperitz, right? Arn Billion, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, right? I'm trying to like fucking project all the pronunciations I can think of, right? But yeah, Arne, I think is how Antonio says his name, and Antonio's European, so he probably knows how to pronounce it better than I do, right? Onion, right? Augie is like the nickname they give him. He used to work at, I think he still works at artwod. I think he maybe left, actually, I don't fucking know. Axel, I know Axel's like a programmer for artwod and an incredible artist. But like these people, and again, if you want to know like who I actually look up to, literally just go to my Instagram. Don't follow me because I'm fucking, my Instagram has no worth, there's no value, there's nothing good there, right? But go to my following, like, and just look at a lot of them, and you'll see like anybody who's just like crazy with their ink work or like just has nice clean lines, and this is purely just for the example of like, oh, clean line work, right? Like that is who I evaluate. Again, not compare, right? Not compare as a means of my own ability to feel fucking shit about like a pussy, right? But compare as a means of evaluation purely in terms of the deficit of the deficit in terms of ability, technical ability, proficiency, right? Capability, right? And that is, and I just look at that and I'm like, what are the 2 to 3 things I can see just right now? And it's like, okay, line work is clean, like lines are stable, they're clean, they have a consistent line weight, or if they do have inconsistent line weight, it's controlled. So it's like, okay, I can see control, consistency, and scale of the line, like from like how from one point to another, like how far they're going, right? As well, and then like you'll do that for 400 repetitions, i.e. let's say like 80 hours, right? 80 hours, and like cumulative, right? And by the way, line work is always something you get better at, like you constantly focus on, right? It's this is like infinite. Art is infinite, but line work is especially fucking infinite from my experience, right? Like, because there's so many different angles like that you could be better at. But that's the thing, like that's the next point. It's like, okay, you'll find out, like you'll do those you spam those 2 to 3 things. 80 hours is maybe like an overkill number, but I like to give you guys overkill numbers so you don't fucking ever think that, oh, by tomorrow I'll be God, right? Like a dipshit. So like a beginner, like a perfect beginner who has no idea what the skill entails, right? But you do that for X amount of hours, at least dozens, and then you're like, okay, what's the next thing? Well, what's the next thing I can evaluate? Oh, I just realized that my lines may be a lot more confident, consistent, stable in this particular orientation, and in this particular direction, and in this particular sequence. But now there's hundreds of other sequences, directions, and orientations that my hand, my finger, my wrist struggle to be smooth, consistent, and controlled over. Ta-da! I have now discovered new deficits that I can just spam. And that is exactly what I do, right? Like that is just, I just find what I don't understand, I spam it until I understand it better, and then I find the next thing I don't understand. And then neuroplasticity and everything else I talk about is simply like the conduit in which I do it effectively, because I'm a extremely average to below average. Like I'm seeing beginners I'm seeing this one guy that I follow on Instagram, right? And like this guy is either probably slightly above average or like a little bit above average, or maybe even a lot above average in terms of his ability to understand these concepts, right? And when I look at that, I'm like, okay, yeah, he has an affinity. He's behaviorally acclimated, predisposed to be able to understand this better, right? And when I look at but I can see he's trying his fucking ass off. So no matter what, he's trying his ass off. He's still making a fuck ton of beginner mistakes. He still has a lot of things lacking in terms of the deficit, in terms of skill, in terms of effort, right? But he started at a higher baseline. What the fuck? He started at a higher baseline, right? But that by no means diminishes my efforts and my work ethic and your efforts and your work ethic. Like, it's the comparison game is fucking stupid, because the only thing you should be comparing is how much you can just keep going and keep trying and keep doing your best, right? On a long enough time horizon over decades, right? Like, we should all just, like, anybody who tries, we should simply be like, wonderful, another friend, another brother, or another comrade in arms along for the ride, right? And another thing, this guy's progressing faster than me on paper, right? Because he's not doing what I did. I literally had no guidelines. He's only using guidelines. And even with guidelines, he's making a lot of beginner mistakes. This isn't the shit on him, by the way. I'm just saying he's a beginner. So, like, these are just things that I went through too, right? So I explicitly, continuously make things harder for myself. So my shit will always look worse until I do a drawing from imagination with no guidelines, right? Then it's just like, oh, like, okay, like, this is why. Like, this is why it's done. Like, my understanding of form is literally 10 times ahead of my application of form, right? Like, I already understand form fucking, like, to let's say, so like an advanced intermediate level, like an intermediate advanced level. Like, I already understand it to that level, but how I utilize it in terms of the shapes that I create, the designs that I create, in terms of the scale that I put it in, is like the extreme deficit. You know what I mean? Again, there's a million things I don't understand about form, but I think I can objectively say my understanding of form is like, it's probably close to intermediate advanced in let's say like 6 ways of the 15 ways that are required to be at like an intermediate advanced level, like holistically. So I guess in the end I don't understand shit. But all I'm trying to say is, like, I made things harder for myself in the beginning, so that's why things always looked worse. And then it's only when I like applied it and stress tested it and like continuously moved forward with imagination drawings that they showed more consistently. But at the end of the day, like, nobody's efforts are wasted, right? And I actually don't know what the point I was making there was. I think I was trying to say some shit about like how to focus and how to learn and how to like what to think about. But yeah, just basically keep noticing the deficits and against the people that you evaluate. Again, evaluate, not compare as a means of fucking putting yourself down or feeling bad about your lack of ability. Get your head out of your fucking ass. All right, like, if you feel bad about your lack of your ability, good, not in a mean way, but like, you should be explicitly aware of where you are lacking, right? And then objectively, consistently and ruthlessly just close that deficit over years and years and years and decades, right? Like, and then you died knowing nothing. Like, congratulations, you did your best. It didn't fucking matter to anybody but you, which is the way it should be, right? But with that being said, please rest your brain, Jesus Christ. Not fucking drawing, clearly. All right, cool. What the fuck? It's been 53 minutes? Was I drawing? I swear I didn't talk for that long. Why am I sweating? Fuck, I need to turn my heater off. And that was brought to you by Vagu in the Bagu, right? That's my confused alter ego. It's honestly a nickname that my friends came up with like years ago. One friend specifically. I just thought it sounded funny. You guys can probably hear how like how just tired I am. I found it sounded funny, like I can't even think. Oh, the fuck, dude. Please tell me I wasn't talking for that long. Right, I was just trying to get a point across. I must have been talking for 7 minutes or some shit. Holy fuck. Okay, let's just, again, put in a shit ton of cognitive effort, use our brain, do our best. What the fuck else can I do, right? Let's try a different angle. Let's try a more difficult angle, right? I'm trying to think about, a difficult angle that I can do. Okay, we'll do something tilted like this, and we'll make the thumb on the other end. So it'll be my hand, like this will be the hand. Like, it'll be this perspective. Right, and with that being said, let's get to it. Let's fucking zoom out. Let's try to see this properly, right? And I'm going to let's see, I'm trying to tilt it, right? I'm really trying to see this box. I'm trying to tilt this box. Okay, let's, and I'm not looking at the line that I'm making. Like, let it be known, I'm not even looking at the mark that I'm making. Okay, now I am at the end, but that's not bad. Holy shit, I've gotten better at not looking at the mark that I'm making and holding the spatial reasoning, whilst also thinking about the box. When I mean holding the spatial reasoning, it's like I've gotten really good at. I've gotten not really good. I've definitely improved to a significant degree, or at least a notable degree, when it comes to visualizing the box, making the mark, keeping the consistency, the line consistency of the mark, whilst doing my best to retain the visualization of the box. Like, that is actually, I commend myself for that. God damn it, I emphasis on the come. I come and myself, right? What does that mean? I don't know, but the words come and end together made me giggle internally, not externally. I'm very serious externally. What the fuck? I'm very serious externally, right? But I am losing the box now. I'm losing the box consistently, which is good. That's exactly what I want. Now I need to see the diagonal cross section. So we have this one right here, and we have this one right around there. So this is my halfway point, and then I need to see the subtle V and put that right around there. Okay, let's go. So this is my... Oh no, okay, thank fucking goodness. I almost made a mistake again, right? I didn't think about the fact that I didn't consider if the thumb was gonna be on the side, but I had thankfully noted that the thumb was not gonna be on that side. Again, like, I'm trying to see the box again, right? I'm trying to see the diagonal cross section, right? This is definitely accurate to a degree. And then I'm trying to see this box down here, like, this is the end point. I'm getting better at remembering that the bottom plane projects past the bottom of the end of the contour of the palm, right? Like, where this palm contour, like, the bottom plane ends, right? And I'm getting better at that, which is good, because I'm trying to constantly always recall, right? And then we have to see the center point, the diagonal cross section. That's that one, but this one, right? That one, right? This one right here. This one going right around there, and then what is the center? It's something like this. No, it's something like this. Right? Okay, fuck, I can't see it anymore. This is beautiful. This is exactly like the effort that I need to be putting in constantly, right? It's like just seeing this insane shit and then zooming out and being like, okay, like, where is it exactly, right? Like, seeing this box, right? My neck is like tensing up. Even though I'm not trying to, I'm using my fucking head, but obviously, like, my neck is tensing up, right? And this is a physical manifestation of the discomfort that I'm experiencing, which is based on the acetylcholine and norepinephrine being released, right? The cognitive friction that I'm enduring, the items in my working memory I'm constantly juggling in my head, right? The astrocytic glycogen that's being utilized, that's being depleted actively while I'm utilizing, that is being utilized by my parietal lobe, prefrontal cortex, and motor cortex, right? And, like, right now, what am I struggling with? I'm struggling immensely with not just visualizing the box, but that's pretty difficult, but, like, obviously all the diagonal cross section, but specifically calculating this diagonal for this, right? So, like, because right now we have this diagonal right here. This is the center point. This is the center point. And I have to think, like, okay, what is the diagonal going to the center? It's something like that, right? And that is what I'm trying to think about. It's like, what is that middle diagonal? Like, what is this middle diagonal, right? Which is like, this is the normal diagonal, and then this is the diagonal connecting to the middle. Not really a creative or clever, even perhaps self-explanatory name, but that's just what I'm calling it for the time being, because I have no fucking other words for it, and my brain is in beautiful, beautiful friction. And this is the feeling that I'm attaching dopamine to. Like, what's like, how the fuck do I figure this out, right? Like, this problem, this cognitive geometrically, spatially reasoned problem is exactly where I'm attaching dopamine to, because it is abundant, and I mean it is abundant with errors, right? And that is what I need. Like, that is genuinely, see, I need to get the curve right too, but that is genuinely what I need, right? So I think that is the curve. Like, if I, again, center it out right there, this coming out, and then let's see, the diagonal cross section, something like that, right? So I think it's really is something like this. If we move it here this way, like this, it looks okay. I don't think it looks super accurate, but it looks okay. And then I have to think about, while trying to hold, again, the box in my mind and the diagonal cross sections, everything, like, try to hold it all together, right? And I have to think about the ellipse, the sphere, not the ellipse, the sphere projecting through this, right? Sorry, not projecting, Jesus fucking Christ, I cannot think, right? But the sphere yeah, the sphere blending, right? Form blending through this, and this is so fucking. This shit's like always gonna be difficult. Well, actually not always. It's just extremely difficult. This shit is just difficult. Like not always, because it's not always gonna be this difficult. Because I'm gonna get better, obviously, right? But anyways, trying to project this outward, and I think like yeah, my diagonals definitely needs a better understanding. Like that was incredibly difficult. Actually, that's probably because if I think about it, this one right here, and then this one. Yeah, see, this diagonal is incorrect. It was supposed to be something more like this. There you go, see? So I should have brought this out even further. So yeah, I am course correcting obviously while I draw, right? And another huge thing that is a huge mistake, and I know it's a huge mistake, and I'm very well aware, is that this is not centered properly. Like this contour, because I literally couldn't think while I was marking it, right? This contour, this dip right here, you see it's going this way, right? Like it's basically going this way, but this perspective, I'm putting it this way. Right, like this perspective, this box, it's this. This is roughly not exactly like that. It's like yeah, it's like this is the box, but because I fucked up the contour and it was something like I did something like this, right? It's going wrong. I actually did it correctly there. Fuck, because it's a smaller scale and it's easier for me. But anyways, back to thinking about the box and the halfway point of the box, right, and the diagonal cross section. So that means now that I need to think about this. There you go, this cylinder right here that's attached, and then what's the fucking tapering of my hand when I'm like this? I guess it's going backwards. What the fuck? The fuck is like this, right? I guess we'll just taper it going into itself, right? I don't know. This is like beautifully confusing, and again, it all stems from the fact that I'm purposefully making things more difficult for myself by actively focusing on the geometric spatial reasoning, and this is not a perfect sphere, but it's okay. We've committed. We'll make the mark. We'll deal with it. Right? Like that has issues. That definitely has issues. That definitely has issues, and probably because I didn't make it large enough, honestly, like that, and I didn't make it wide enough either. Like this, there's a lot of issues here. Even something like that is a lot better. Yeah, you see, even something like that is a lot better. But yeah, holy shit, like, and again, I'm gonna try to keep holding this. I still don't know why when I say holding, for some reason half the time it comes off as a holding, like fucking, I'm not gargling dick until the video turns off, goddammit. But I'm gonna rest my braid. That really fucking, that was incredibly beautiful at first, right? Or at the very least, incredibly beautiful friction, which I attached the dopamine to. But yeah, please rest your brain. I'll reach back around in about 20 seconds, and then we'll finish this off. And it's beautiful. Like I'm making, even now, like just looking at this, I keep forgetting to like properly calculate the box, and this is just constantly just gotta keep drilling myself, right? Just do my best. But yeah, please rest your brain. Yeah, man. Like I literally did not even feel like drawing today, right? Actually, I'm. It's so funny. I started with interleaving, then I'm like, no, I'm gonna be obsessed with this one thing, and I was so sure. I'm like, you have to be doing one thing, and then I'm like, wait, but what about interleaving? I was trying to do that, and then I went back, and I'm back to doing like multiple things, or like switching it up every so often, or like literally every day doing a different thing. But the funny thing is now, like tomorrow onwards, I'm gonna be going back to doing the Kim Jong-il series as well, like adding that. So I started with the structure, I fucking completely derailed the structure, and then I went back to that same structure. But the biggest difference now is that back then I wasn't contextualizing everything in a box, right? Like I genuinely wasn't contextualizing everything into a bounding box, and now this time I am doing that, right? And that is actually the biggest difference, is like I am actively contextualizing everything into a bounding box right now, and constantly thinking about the borders of that box, and actively, as you can hopefully see, is like, well, no, you can't, but anytime you just need to know, like anytime these lines get randomly thick, it's because I am literally try. I'm not looking at the mark itself, right? And like now I'm actively thinking about the bounding box and all that shit. I actually think this diagonal went way too far now. Like, holy shit, I don't even know. But, and yeah, that pinky is god awful. Jesus Christ. Beautiful, 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 beautiful mistakes, right? But like here, like I actively am thinking about the fact that like this should have ended right around there, and I was trying to think about the overall box that it's surrounded in. But that's the thing. Like either way, none of that effort. And by the way, while I'm drawing these contours, I'm still trying to think about the bounding box and the diagonal cross sections to the best of my ability, right? But none of those efforts, to this day, were wasted at all, right? Like none of those efforts were wasted, because effort is only wasted, right? Anything is only wasted if you don't attempt to learn from it, improve from it, gain some insight from it. Yeah, like just learn from it, like to have some semblance of attempted understanding, whether it's a fucking micro like 0.01 attempt or not, or like understanding or not. The point is like no effort is wasted, right? I genuinely don't think any effort is wasted. And some fucking dipshit in the comments, not now, but in the future when this shit starts to blow off, right? I'll say like, well, actually, like I practiced for 50 years and I didn't see my efforts get anywhere. Well, like you proved my fucking point. You clearly didn't learn shit. Like if your argument is no effort is wasted because I tried and I still couldn't get it, that's literally on you, you fucking moron. If you tried for years and years and you still couldn't get it, clearly you weren't fucking putting your efforts. You actively were not trying to improve from your efforts. Humans have this beautiful thing called neuroplasticity. Oh, see, this is actually, and they can learn from. Look at that, I didn't learn from this, right? Like, because I didn't do this properly, right? But humans have this beautiful thing called neuroplasticity, which allows them to get better as long as they put focus and attention and lean into their friction, right? So you may have not at all, at literally any fucking point, leaned into the friction that you were experiencing. That, my friend, is a you problem. And it's a solvable problem, right? Not even turning that into like, that's a you problem, but that's literally a solvable fucking problem, right? The solvable problem being that you simply need to continue trying and to learn where to try, right? Like, and lo and behold, dipshit, right? And again, this is a random person who doesn't exist. This is just an argument I'm making in my head because I live in my parents' basement and I have nothing better to do, right? Does that make you feel better? Oh, Vicky's just a fucking waste man who lives in his parents' basement. Yes, great. Now I can continue talking, right? But what's it called? Like, what the fuck was I saying? What was I bitching about? Yeah, like no effort is wasted. And if your argument is effort is wasted because I tried, or the X person tried, or I know somebody who tried and never got it, that person was a fucking moron who didn't actually try to get better, right? They literally literally just kept throwing the same shit at the same wall and were like, and then they gave up, all right? Because they literally did not make an attempt to get better, right? And if they did make an attempt to get better, and they did get better, but you simply couldn't discern it, then your opinion doesn't matter either, because if they got better and they did continuously strive, then that's all that matters for them, and that's all that matters in general, is that they literally just tried to understand and to improve and persisted, you know, and that's it. That's literally it. Damn, I really fucked this up. That sounded like a fake laugh, and it kind of was. It was like a half-assed, like zero energy laugh, right? But still, it was a laugh nonetheless. Right? It wasn't my usual, like my fucking, okay, that was just the same shit, but in a different direction. There you go, it wasn't that. There you go, it wasn't that either, right? I guess I just have to make myself laugh like a narcissist, right? But either way, like, what was I saying? I don't know anymore. I made myself laugh, and then I found it funny that I made myself laugh, and now we're here. But yeah, no effort is wasted. No effort is wasted, and it's all effort that you're capable of putting in, right? Because if you weren't capable of putting in, then you wouldn't be here right now. Well, not here, but like you wouldn't be where you are if you weren't capable of just trying to try, right? And again, like look at all these mistakes I'm constantly making, right? And these mistakes will showcase down the line just how important it was, right? Like these are the mistakes that create learning, and these are the feelings attaching dopamine, all that shit. Like this is what creates the abundance of skill, is through the abundance of effort, right? And abundance is something we all have. It's something we all have. You just have to keep tapping into it by continuing to try, right? You have to keep tapping into it by continuing to try, and you simply get better by continuing to try. right? And again, like you simply just don't understand the volume. Like beginners simply don't understand the volume. And again, everything I say is always attributed to beginners because beginners are beautiful mistake. But beginners are the only ones who will not understand, and it's fair. It's fair that you don't understand. What's not fair to you is that that what I've seen commonly is like beginners will resort to bitching, literally complaining because they don't understand. And I get it. Learning is difficult, and you're a pussy, right? Like it's as simple as that, you know. It really is as black in black and white as that. It's like learning is difficult, and you're a pussy because you may have things that make it harder for you to learn. You may have a worse understanding, right? And guess what? I did too. I had 8 months of anxiety putting down a fucking mark on a piece of paper. I literally, to this day, like struggle with visualizing 80% of the fucking time when I draw, right? And yet the same person who struggles with visualizing 80% of the time when they draw drew this, right? So it's simply sheer endurance, you know, it's sheer cognitive friction, learning how to learn, which is enjoying that friction, literally feeling good about that friction, and constantly noticing that friction and noticing all the errors that you're making, constantly trying to recall. Like it's so many layers, but you're really just trying to keep recalling it and trying to hold as many things in your mind while you're applying, and then feeling good when you're incapable of doing so, because that's where your brain will focus on that and realize it's a problem to solve, right? Without all the neuroscience explanation, like that's literally it, right? But whatever deficit you think you have, I guarantee there's somebody who's had worse and done better, right? And if there isn't one, congratulations, you now have the opportunity to be that person and to be an inspiration rather than a bitch inspiration. No, I think I only said that because it's like relative rhyming, right? Relative rhyming rationale. You know, that's a pretty good alliteration right there. But it's not funny. It's not funny at all. but no, like I genuinely think that like everybody has deficits that they have to make up for. And even if they don't, cool. Like they're still gonna have to work hard if they want to be fucking even halfway decent, right? I don't know anybody who just, especially for art, I haven't seen any example of someone who didn't spend years and years and years and years and years just working on their craft, or hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours. Like if we just do it purely by metric of intentional hours, it's in the thousands, right? It's in the thousands for anyone who's fucking, who I consider to be proficient, and who I consider to be proficient are people who are fucking incredible, right? And whatever your version of that has the same equivalent of thousands of hours of intentional, focused effort and persistence, right? So if they can do it, we can do it too. So that's the thing. Like it's no effort is wasted. You know, how many times do you hear artists say, "I wish I did this in the beginning. I wish I did that in the beginning." Yeah, they wish they did that, but they went on a journey that took them to the point where they are now. And where they are now, if we're going to be purely output focused, because again, it's about the type of person that they are who is capable of getting to this point that is actually the entire narrative that's being formed and what actually matters, right? Like I'm building the person who can see geometry in my mind that is extremely complex and be able to apply it to any context, right? That's actually the interleaving that I'm doing appropriately now, which is like being able to draw any form and to proportionally scale any form and to proportionally and to like accurately anchor any form or manipulated forms or sequence of forms inside a bounding box seen through with diagonal cross sections of any size, scale, and proportions, right? Like that is the overall meta skill I'm building. That is extremely difficult, and that's why it's the person I become who can build that skill that's more valuable. And same with the artist that I look up to, in my opinion, which is the right opinion. But like, I don't see any other beneficial mindset, right? Every other mindset is purely bitch, moan, struggle, friction, complain, compare, right? All from a lens of just like poor mindset around learning. So again, like this is the correct mindset. It's literally the most beneficial mindset, even if there was no neuroscience behind it. It's literally the most beneficial mindset. I'm only as good as the work I put in. The work I put in has value. I'm grateful and glad that others have put the work in so I can learn from them, no matter the path that they're on. And I am inspired, right? And I aspire to be like those who have become the type of person that I want to be, right? For any skill endeavor, not just drawing, but for any skill endeavor. Like I simply do not see how this is not a beneficial mindset, and that's why I will keep fucking shilling it till I die. Well, and with that being said, I hope you put a lot of fucking effort in, and as always, fuck you for watching, keep drawing, and boy, you get money.